What are you at? It's Paul from Wicked Acorn. Going to dive right in today. Hopefully, everything's working okay. Seemed to work okay last time, and hopefully, it's going to work out this time. Made some changes. I've uh, just got to get used to navigating the buttons here. Uh, I was playing around with the chat, and I just realized I can ask a question that stays there. Good morning, Astrex. Is it? Yes, there we go. It's uh, it's difficult to get this stuff all in my head here, but thanks for coming back. Um, okay, today we're going to dive right in. Let's see. So I'm going to go to this one and get our little man moving there. That's Salix. We had a contest several months ago to name the guy, and his name is Salix. And the lady did never contact me. She won a coaster, and she never did contact me. So if she happens to be watching, send me an email, and I'll in my regular stalker. Interesting. This Astrex seems to be someone else watching there, at least. Uh, I will just give you an example of what's going on here. I'm going to type in something. I have to use caps because I have hotkeys associated with the lowercase ones. Did I spell that right? No, I didn't. So I am going to press enter, return, whatever, go on the chat. So this is how long it takes for it to show up for you. Let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. So it showed up for me, but I'm also 20 seconds ahead of you. Now, something happening over here. I got to keep all these things in my periphery that can get me copyright claims. Okay, let's, yeah. Okay, so our last photo we had was this place. And does anyone know where it is? And because I'm 20 seconds ahead of you, I'm actually in the future. Asterix, I'm in the future. It showed up before I said go. Really? Okay. Well, there you go. That's because I'm in the future. Um, all right. Do you know where this is? This was our Where Is It photo, and it's related to today's video and today's topic. Just leave it there for a second and see if anyone has an idea where it is. No idea? It is Bolton. And for those that don't know, I'm sure Asterix knows of Bolton. But for those that don't know, it's a town in Greater Manchester in England in the foothills of the West Pennine Moors. Bolton is between Manchester, Blackburn, Wigan, Bury, and Salford, and is surrounded by several towns and villages that form the wider borough of which Bolton is the administrative centre. The town is within the historic county boundaries of Lancashire. So this is related to today's video, and I will show you uh, our next Where Is It photo. So this is the where is it photo for today. And this one is not far from me. And if you notice, I had to cover up the road sign there with some question marks. Otherwise, you would know where it is for sure. So I'll leave that one for a moment and we'll get ready for our video because the building with the clock tower, see, I can't. Oh, yes. I thought you were talking about the clock tower in the video, in the photo here now. Maybe if I move this over the other side. No, that doesn't work. I got to figure out something with the chat. It'd be great if I could get it on this computer, but this computer is too old to display it. So we'll look at this day in history. Used to be Preston's of Bolton. Okay. I'm not familiar with Bolton. I've been there a couple times. And you will see in today's video. Today in history, the 9th of September, I didn't put a whole bunch in today because I got a couple of videos to play. So on this day in history, the 9th of September, 1753, the first steam engine arrives in North American colonies. And it was a Newcomen steam engine. It was invented by Thomas Newcomen in 1712 and was the world's first successful atmospheric. It was a jewelry shop. Okay. It was primarily used to pump water out of coal mines during the Industrial Revolution. It worked by using injected cold water to condense steam, creating a vacuum that allowed atmospheric pressure to push a piston, which in turn operated a pump via a large pivoting beam. And you can see, I got to do something with this chat. I can't see what you're saying there. It wasn't pedestrianized. Yeah, I haven't wandered about Bolton very much at all, but I've been there, and you'll see in today's video. Yeah, so it was the first successful steam engine, the Newcomen. Wasn't great, but it was the first one that actually worked, and they used it for pumping out mines, and that's what it was used for in the first one that was sent to America. And that is the video we're going to look at today because it was it was I have to streamline this a bit better, but it was I've forgotten what I was saying. But the steam engine, when I was going to school and we started doing world history, it the Industrial Revolution. I don't think our history teacher was too interested in history, and like history was just a complete bore. The stuff we did in primary school or whatever you call it was much more interesting because we did more local history or history of the province of Newfoundland, and that was really interesting. And it was that I found that stuff really interesting. But when we got into doing world history, it was a complete bore. It was just like memorizing dates and events, and it was horrible. And the Industrial Revolution, all you had to know was Eli Whitney, cotton gin. I've forgotten the year, 17 1753 or something. I've forgotten the year. 1780. I don't remember the year. But that's all you had to know was, I remember Eli Whitney and the cotton gin. Forgotten the year. So that's all we had to know back in those days. It was really pathetic the way they taught history back in the day. And this is me at the Bolton Steam Museum. So I'm just going to let it play a little bit, and then we're going to watch another video. What does this kettle and this lump of coal have in common? To find out, we're going to have to go to a place called Bolton. Bolton is in the northwest of England. It's not too hard to find. It's on the highway to hell. Only they don't call it a highway here. It's a motorway. Its nickname is the Devil's Road or the Devil's Causeway. But in true northern fashion, officially this stretch of the A666 is called St. Peter's Way. There's only a few things I know about Bolton. It was once the center of the universe. So that is a joke relating to another video we did. And I should have linked that video in the description as well. But Bolton, the UK, the video volume is a little lower. Yeah, I noticed that. I've got it turned up full there. Okay, it's way down here on that screen, so it might blast your ears off here now. Just turn it down a little bit and then we'll get back to it. I had it turned down on the thing feeding to this thing, and I had it up full here. Anyway, the UK, way back in history, way back in history, was near the equator. And that's what the joke was about the video. Bolton was the center of the universe. And in that video, we went to, I've forgotten the name of the park, but there's a petrified tree there, the oldest thing we've ever looked at on this channel. But it was, there's another video about that. What's the name of it? Jumbles County Park. And yeah, so it was a joke about that. Bolton was in the center of the universe at the equator back when it was Pangea or whatever that great continent was called. Okay, let's try again. There's only a few things I know about Bolton. It was once the center of the universe, and now it's the home of the Bolton Steam Museum. And the palindrome of Bolton is not lob. All throughout history, enterprising people have been trying to make work easier. Maybe more efficient is a better description. If it gets easier, it's a bonus byproduct. Have to hit that pause button, that music thing. What am I going to do about this? It's so terrible. It's so terrible. At any rate, I've got it. Is it muted now? Yes, it is. So I can let this play. Yeah, I did that properly. So it's just a matter of me getting used to doing all these switching and things. For millennia, work was man-powered, or animal-powered, muscle-powered. First, you had to grow the corn, and then you would have to grind it.
by hand, all day, for days and days and days and days. Eventually, we figured out how to harness the wind and the water. Along came the windmill and the water wheel, and all of a sudden, we had millers and the like. This is where the division of labor really got going. With machines like these, we could make more stuff than we needed. Places like Quarry Bank Mill, with its massive water wheel, had a monopoly on the cotton spinning industry. But they were tied to the land and the water that provided their power. Once we had an engine, we could power all sorts of tools. Wind and water have powered all manner of machines over the years. But like the wind and water, that engine was unreliable. No wind, too much wind, not enough water, and the machines stopped. With all those machines needing a more reliable power source, the Industrial Revolution was waiting for a spark to jump into high gear. The ancient Greeks knew about steam power. This is a hero's engine, first described around 25 BC. But they didn't know what to do with it. It was just a whimsical novelty, a curiosity, a party trick. In 1543, a Spanish scientist and sea captain came up with the idea of attaching paddles and powering a ship with one. But the idea died on the drawing board. It wasn't until 1712 that Thomas Newcomen came up with the first.
So that's a Newcomen engine, actual working model of a Newcomen engine at the Bolton Steam Museum. It's well, you can see a guy standing next to it there, but it's an actual working model powered by steam. The museum has steam days. I think once a month, or I'm not certain, but there's a link in the video to their website and when they have steam days. So it's fascinating to. These machines are absolutely massive, massive, massive flywheels and massive machines. And yeah, it's good to go there on a steam day when they're running from steam. I think otherwise they run them from like electric motors, so they're not really working as an engine. They're being powered by an engine and just freewheeling kind of thing.
Practical steam engine. It was used to pump water out of coal mines. With all that coal lying around, energy efficiency was not an issue. In 1763, James Watt, a Scottish inventor and mechanical engineer, was brought in to repair one of Newcomen's engines. He made major design changes and dramatically improved the efficiency of the Newcomen engine. He entered into a partnership with Matthew Bolton, and the stage was set for the steam engine to power the Industrial Revolution. They are making steam. The steam engine revolutionized transportation as well. It allowed for the development of trains and steamboats, which could transport goods and people much more efficiently than before.
Oh, what a coincidence. I paused it right at the commercial there. Why did it start playing? Anyway, we're not, that part's not live, so it doesn't matter. I was going to say at Bolton Steam Museum. I didn't know it at the time, and it's unfortunate. The guides really should have pointed it out to me. Is one of Fred Dibna's uh, steam engines. Uh, you might get a glimpse of it in this. I can't remember now. You might get a glimpse of it in this video, but I didn't know it was Fred Dibna's steam engine when I was there, and so that'll have to be for another visit. But yeah, Fred Dibna is somebody I actually knew about back in Canada because I watch all this kind of stuff on YouTube and on TV. The Fred Dibna, I can't remember which series it was that we got uh, in Canada. One of the series he did, and so yeah, I was familiar with Fred Dibna. So yeah, I wish I had known it was his steam engine when I was there, but I didn't. So that'll have to be for the next visit.
Much more efficiently than before. This helped to fuel the growth of trade and commerce, leading to the development of larger, more complex economies. The Industrial Revolution also led to the development of new technologies, such as the telegraph and the telephone, which revolutionized communication and information sharing. In addition to the technological changes, the Industrial Revolution had a profound impact on society and culture. It led to the growth of cities as people moved from the countryside to work in factories. This led to the development of new social classes and a shift in the balance of power between workers and owners. The Industrial Revolution also had a major impact on the environment and increased the demand for natural resources, and the rise of factories led to pollution and other environmental issues. Overall, the Industrial Revolution had a far-reaching and enduring impact on the way we live, work, and communicate. It transformed the world from a primarily agricultural society into a more industrialized and urbanized one, and laid the foundations for many of the technological and societal changes that we see today. The National Museum of Engineering and Science in Bolton, England, showcases one of the largest collections of stationary steam engines in the United Kingdom. The engines on display once powered the textile mills of the north of England. 120 years ago, Lancashire was the largest producer of cotton textiles in the world and had hundreds of mills operating. The mills were powered by steam engines, and it's estimated that there were as many as 10,000 engines at work, most of which were built by local engineering companies. However, as production moved overseas, the industry declined, and by the late 1960s, only a few hundred mills survived.
So that one is the biggest one, and they couldn't get it going that day. It was seized up somehow, and I went over and asked the guy if he could have a go at it to see if he could get it working, and they didn't get it going. It This is something that happens, um, and it takes a lot of screwing around to get it working again. And these guys are volunteers, and I'm sure they're well versed in it. But I'm sure when things like that happened back in the day, they got it back online pretty quick. There was a lot on the line when the engine shut down back in the day, not just some stupid tourist guy with a camera that wants wants to get a video of it working. So yeah, it didn't work that day. And this one, I think I can't remember now, but I think this is the biggest one in the country. This steam engine here. I'm not certain on that, but it's certainly the biggest one in this area, if not in the country.
The National Museum of Engineering and Science was established in 1966 by a group of dedicated enthusiasts. They were concerned about the rapid disappearance of their heritage and wanted to preserve the steam engines from the textile industries of Lancashire and Yorkshire. With the support of the Mason family, who owned the Atlas Mills site in Bolton, the Society was offered premises where they could begin rebuilding the engine. In 1983, after 15 years of work, the first museum was open to the public. 5 of the rebuilt engines were working in steam, and the museum was named the Bolton Steam Museum. Over the next 7 years, it became a well-known attraction in the area. However, in 1990, the mill complex was sold for redevelopment, and the museum was in the way. The new owners, William Morris Supermarkets, were sympathetic to the Society's situation and agreed to relocate the museum to another building on the site. In 1991, the Society was given a long lease on the new premises and began reassembling its collection, which had grown to 27 engines. The new building, called the Cotton Store, provided an ideal space for the museum with plenty of natural lighting and crane coverage to assist with moving and assembling the heavy.
I think Fred Dibna's engine is right next to this one. Like there's a passage aisle between that one and the other side, and right on the other side of that one is one of Fred Dibna's engines.
Engine parts. In 2006, a new boiler house was built, and a boiler was installed so that the engines could be demonstrated working in steam on regular steam days. At other times, 5 of the engines can be shown in motion under electric drive. Despite numerous appeals for grant aid and an application to the National Lottery for funds, the Society's small group of volunteers have been working largely unaided to return the engines to a fully operational condition. The museum relies on donations and goodwill from local companies to fund its development. The National Museum of Engineering and Science showcases the remarkable engineering achievements of the past and is a testament to the dedication and passion of the Society's members, who worked tirelessly to preserve their heritage for future generations. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. The Bolton Steam Museum. I've never seen such huge machines before. The machines, well, machines like this made the modern world, and it has something you can't appreciate on video, the smell of clean grease and oil. It's a nice smell. Usually when I'm working on a motor or something, it doesn't smell like clean grease and oil. So I'll put a link in the description so you can come here and check it out. Try and get here on a day when they're steamed up. It's fantastic. All right, see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you want to help,
I wasn't going to play that whole video because there is another video I wanted to look at today, because what I wanted to talk about was the Industrial Revolution and how it's taught to us, which I mentioned, but yeah, the Industrial Revolution is taught. Well, I don't know how it's taught in this country, but I imagine completely differently than it was in Canada. And the textbook we had, it was this massive, massive book, and it was just called World History. And it served 3 years in high school. I think we used the same book. And I don't think they even use books in school nowadays. Yeah, I don't think they don't get textbooks in school anymore. And the Industrial Revolution in America and It was an American textbook, was the point I was trying to make, written in America. I don't know why they chose a book written in America. I guess there wasn't a good enough Canadian one. I don't know. But I was going to show you a little bit of this video here because this is very kind to this side of the world. But all we were taught about the Industrial Revolution was Eli Whitney. That was the only thing we were taught.
What if you woke up one morning and the world was moving faster than you could imagine? Machines roaring, cities glowing, and lives forever changed. This was the Industrial Revolution, a time when humanity unlocked the secrets of power, speed, and mass production. But behind these breakthroughs lies a story of ambition, sacrifice, and unintended consequences. Let's explore the 15 inventions that built the modern world and uncover the price of progress. The Industrial Revolution was a period between the late 1700s and mid-1800s when machines replaced manual labor, and industries like textiles, transportation, and agriculture were transformed by groundbreaking technologies. It wasn't just a time of innovation, it was a seismic shift that touched every corner of society. These 15 inventions didn't just drive industry, they sparked social upheavals, changed how people lived and worked, and fueled the ambitions of empires. But as we'll see, every invention came with a cost. It all began with power. In 1769, James Watt transformed Thomas Newcomen's basic steam engine into an efficient powerhouse. Factories were no longer chained to rivers. With steam power, they could operate anywhere. Trains roared across countrysides, and steamships conquered oceans. Before the steam engine, factories were like solar-powered homes, completely dependent on their environment. Watt's steam engine was like switching to an always-on power grid, freeing industries to grow anywhere, anytime. The steam engine powered entire industries. Coal mines, textile mills, and even breweries thrived, turning cities like Manchester and Birmingham into booming industrial hubs.
Birmingham's in Alabama. It's not Birmingham here, is it?
Imagine standing on a cobblestone street as a train rushes past, steam billowing into the air. For those watching, it must have felt like witnessing the future.
No, we never learned anything about the Industrial Revolution either. As I said, all we learned about the Industrial Revolution was Eli Whitney. And that's why I got this video on, so we can get to the Eli Whitney part. Birmingham? Birmingham, yes, yes. It looks like Birmingham. That's a problem I have with the chat here. It's too small for me to read. I have to figure out some way to do that. I started school probably about the time you finished. Okay, where are we?
Into the air. For those watching, it must have felt like witnessing the future. But coal, the fuel behind this power, came at a cost. City skies darkened with soot, and rivers became toxic dumping grounds. The steam engine wasn't just the heart of the revolution, it was its first environmental warning sign. In 1764, James Hargreaves revolutionized textile production with the spinning jenny, a machine that allowed one worker to spin multiple threads at once. Yarn production soared, fueling the rapid growth of the textile industry. Legend has it that Hargreaves named the spinning jenny after his daughter, Jenny, who accidentally knocked over a spindle, sparking the idea. But not everyone celebrated this progress.
So I've been to his home. I don't recall where it is, and I don't think it's the first one, uh, but it's one of the first ones. I think it's in his home. Anyway, it's a real supply and demand thing. The Industrial Revolution. It's a real back and forth. Like when did the Industrial Revolution start? If it, there's not one thing that started it. Like the Bridgewater Canal couldn't happen without the Bridgewater Canal. The Industrial Revolution would not have happened without the Bridgewater Canal. It certainly wouldn't have happened the way that it did, uh, for sure. Um, yeah, so I mean, like he built the Bridgewater Canal to get coal into Manchester, and then it's like, oh, we can power all these machines with this coal stuff. So it's real back and forth, and the cotton gin. Uh, what was his thing called? Anyway, it was a real back and forth. Um, when they came up with the what was the name of his device? Ginny, cotton ginny, and then there's a cotton gin. Eli Whitney.
Jenny, who accidentally knocked. Legend has it that Hargreaves named the spinning jenny after his daughter, Jenny, who.
Yeah, so the ginny, the spinning ginny, was yeah, the people were still alive. Yeah, some of them were, that's for sure. Cotton Jenny? Yes, right, there's a song called Cotton Jenny, isn't there? By, I think Anne Murray made that famous. Is that a Gordon Lightfoot tune? I don't remember. Ain't got a penny for Cotton Jenny. Spinning Jenny. I'm gonna have to look into that. I haven't thought of that song in a long, long time. Um, yeah, so it was a real back and forth, because when they made the spinning jenny, it could make stuff faster, and the cotton suppliers couldn't keep up, so they invented the cotton gin. I don't know if I'm getting these names right, but yeah, the cotton gin. It's funny, they're the same kind of name, aren't they? Um, anyway, we'll let it play and see what happens.
Accidentally knocked over a spindle, sparking the idea. But not everyone celebrated this progress. Skilled spinners, fearing unemployment, rioted and destroyed machines in what became known as the Luddite movement. These weren't mindless protests. These workers were desperate to protect their livelihoods. Progress often leaves people behind, and the spinning jenny showed that every invention has its winners and its losers. The textile industry became the first to fully embrace industrialization thanks to a trio of inventions. Richard Arkwright's water frame, 1769, brought water power to spinning, creating strong threads. Samuel Crompton's spinning mule, 1779, refined this process, producing finer yarn. Finally, Edmund Cartwright's power loom, 1785, mechanized weaving, transforming textiles into the first mass-produced goods. Imagine the deafening roar of machines in an early factory. Workers, many of them children, labored for 12 hours or more a day. Before these machines, families worked together at home, spinning and weaving. Factories broke these traditions, separating families and drawing women and children into harsh factory labor. Eli Whitney's cotton gin, 1793, was a marvel of efficiency, separating cotton fibers from seeds at incredible speed. It fueled the textile boom and made cotton the backbone of the global economy. But this success came at a devastating human cost. The demand for cotton skyrocketed, intensifying the reliance on enslaved labor in the American South. Globally, British-controlled India was forced to prioritize cotton over food crops, leading to widespread famine. The cotton gin was like social media. a tool that revolutionized its industry but came with unintended consequences. It boosted cotton production but deepened dependence on enslaved labor, showing how progress can sometimes widen existing cracks in society. The Industrial Revolution wasn't just about machines, it was a race. Nations scrambled to dominate industries, workers fought for survival, and the environment bore the cost of rapid industrial growth. What challenges lay ahead? And what price would humanity pay for progress? Henry Bessemer's process, 1856, made steel production faster and cheaper, revolutionizing construction and transportation. With steel, bridges spanned rivers, railways crisscrossed continents, and skyscrapers reached for the heavens. Steel wasn't just the backbone of industry, it transformed warfare too, with stronger ships and more efficient weapons. Steel became the material of ambition, turning the dreams of engineers and architects into towering realities.
I was going to pause it there back at the Luddites because that's a video I want to do. I want to do a video about the Luddites. The first Luddite the first factory that the Luddites smashed up, I think, was in Stockport. It was mainly the Luddite movement was mainly a Yorkshire thing, but it started here in Greater Manchester, and of course, yeah, it's we're in the same place again. We're right back at this point in time where technology is just moving so fast. Like that AI video I played the other night. This like that looks like child's play now compared to AI videos nowadays. And I I use it quite a bit, like especially trying to figure out this OBS thing. Chat GPT is fantastic because you can speak to it like a person. Like if you want to type into a search engine like Google, you have to type keywords and things like that. You can't type in how do I get this thing to go over there when I push on that thing and move it over. Like you can talk to Chat GPT like you would a normal person, somewhat. It's but yeah, it's leaps and bounds, and that's what the Industrial Revolution was like. It must have been a crazy time to be alive to see all these things happening. I've always said that my grandparents lived through the most change, and their generation. I mean, specifically people in my grandparents' situation, like they were born in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they went from the highest tech piece of equipment they had was probably a kerosene lantern. They, I don't think they had um, steam powered boats. They were all fishermen living in a small rural community. No electricity, no indoor plumbing. They lived the same life that their grandparents and their great grandparents lived. And in their lifetime, they went from that kerosene lantern. I don't think you guys call them kerosene lanterns. I think you call it paraffin. Paraffin is a different thing to us. Uh, but a kerosene lantern, uh, it was that was probably the highest tech thing they had. And I don't even know if they had that, but I imagine they did. And they went from that to, I'm pretty sure Nan had a bank card, you know, that you put in the machine and get money out. There was computers existed. They weren't in everyone's home. Paraffin, you call it, yeah. Um, yeah, we call it kerosene. Paraffin to me is the stuff you make candles from, wax, that white um, wax, which is not wax. To me, it's paraffin. So yeah, paraffin to me is that stuff. The stuff you put in the lantern is kerosene. That's the way we call it. Yeah, so like computers existed. So she went, from the fastest thing being a horse or a sailboat to riding on an airplane, man on the moon in a lifetime. That's an amazing amount of change. And I don't know if we're going through it now, but time will tell. We'll see, won't we?
Engineers and architects into towering realities. In 1837, Samuel Morse sent the first telegraph message, and the world suddenly became smaller. Communication that once took weeks now happened in seconds. Businesses thrived, militaries coordinated across continents, and the first transatlantic cable in 1858 connected entire nations. When Samuel Morse tested his telegraph in 1844, his first message was, "What hath God wrought?" A fitting phrase for an invention that shrank the world and reshaped how we connect. George Stephenson's locomotive and the expansion of canals, such as the Bridgewater Canal, 1761, transformed transportation. Trains moved goods and people across vast distances, while canals carried heavy materials like coal and steel. Railways rewired society. Standardized time zones, introduced to keep trains on schedule, allowed businesses across cities to operate on synchronized clocks, paving the way for global trade and collaboration.
So yeah, it did. Bristol, if you ever get to Bristol, if you haven't been, um, is it Bristol? I think it's Bristol. The clock in the town square, or wherever it is, has 2 minute hands. And because back in the day, um, time, noon, high noon, was determined by when the sun was highest in the sky. And of course, that's different everywhere in the world. And I think Bristol, if it was to go by solar time, as opposed to a time zone like we have now, is 10 or 15 minutes ahead behind London. So the railway, you could never travel from London to Bristol where 10 or 15 minutes would make a difference. But of course, the railway made it that, yeah, it made a difference. So you would be late or early. I'm not sure which it is. You're going west. So yeah, so it's later, right? So yeah, you'd be, would that make you early or late for a meeting? Tallow, isn't that like tallow to me is like animal fat, isn't it? Like that kind of thing? Tallow? I mean, there are old tallow candles. When I say paraffin, it's the stuff modern candles are made of. That, you know, it's white in its natural state, but you can make it any color. Modern candles are made from paraffin in my lingo. And anyway, I don't know. Is that what you call paraffin? You call it tallow nowadays? Uh, yeah, so it changed everything. It changed time.
For the first time, people could travel for leisure, turning remote coastal towns into bustling tourist destinations. Jethro Tull's seed drill, 1701, and Cyrus McCormick's mechanical reaper, 1831, transformed farming. The seed drill planted crops with precision, boosting yields, while the reaper harvested faster, feeding the growing urban population. These innovations didn't just support cities, they reshaped rural life. Agrarian societies, once self-sufficient, became part of a global system of production. Steamships revolutionized global trade. By connecting distant markets, they made products like tea, coffee, and spices more accessible, creating the first truly global economy. But steamships weren't without risks. Early designs were prone to boiler explosions, earning them the nickname floating bombs. Progress was fast, but dangerous. Gaslighting transformed city life. Streets became safer, factories operated longer, and nightlife flourished, creating the urban experience we recognize today. But for factory workers, gaslighting often meant longer hours and grueling conditions. The light of progress came with shadows. These 15 inventions changed everything, but they also raised questions. Progress brought power and prosperity, but it also created exploitation and environmental damage. As we innovate today, are we learning from history, or are we repeating its mistakes? Which invention do you think had the greatest impact? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about the innovations that changed the world.
So that was the only reason I wanted to show you that was, well, you can get t-shirts on our website too, by the way. The only reason I wanted to show you that was the Eli Whitney thing. That's what I was going to skip ahead to, but I figured we might as well have a go at it to see how the commercials and all that stuff is going to work out. The adverts being flagged as copyright claims and whatnot. So I'll show you our where is it photo one more time. And thank you everybody for dropping by this evening. Tallow, yeah, tallow is animal fat, I think. What do you call the stuff that modern candles are made of? That we call paraffin. And the stuff you put in the lantern is called kerosene. Michael Burke's Connections. Oh yeah, the great show, wasn't it? Yeah, really good series. And yeah, that's kind of what I'd love to be doing such a thing, because that's kind of the thing I do here, talking about how all these things are connected. And yeah, it's amazing how all these things are connected. It's very interesting. I find it interesting. I hope you do too. Anyway, that's our photo. So we're going to try and figure out where that photo is next time. It's paraffin for modern candles. So that's confusing, isn't it? But yeah, there's lots of things that have the same name that are confusing. Um, yeah, so there's our photo for next time. Uh, thank you. Uh, okay, so let's see, I'll turn that off there. And I will eventually get this so that this works more seamlessly, and it'll be like a kind of like a TV show from your bedroom. Actually, I think this is a dining room, meant to be a dining room. I've taken it over. Does anyone have a dining room anymore? I don't think dining rooms are a thing anymore, really, are they? We have um, where we eat is like a morning room attached to the kitchen. It's yeah, dining rooms usually end up being an office these days, doesn't it? But there you go. So hopefully next time I'll get this a little more seamless and be able to say see you in the next one.